Studio Galaxy 473 in Confero. And we're back again for the second part of our program with the Galaxy Equalizers. Today we have KB, Kennedy Budlal, and Master Carl in studio with us. And it's a right time for discussion. 2 years have gone. The National Democratic Congress won election on June 22nd. And we have 2 years now. And the National Democratic Congress is in a celebrating mood. Is in a celebrating mood. And obviously the NNP is asking what they're celebrating. And they say they have a lot to celebrate. So we are interested. We want to know. Because after 2 years, a political party, you have to know the direction they're going. The next year is for them perhaps to create butter the ground, or some of the challenges they might have experienced in the last 2 years, to see how they could make it more palatable. Because after a government spent 3 years in power, the next two is for campaigning. We have with us KB. KB, 2 years of the National Democratic Congress. They're in a celebrating mood. Let us look at what they're celebrating. What are the achievements? Perhaps we could ask that first. What do you think they would claim is the achievements or accomplishment in 2 years?
Thank you, Pierre. Thank you for having me. And I want to apologize for last week due to unfavorable circumstances. And again, Father's Day, celebrating tomorrow. We want to wish all the fathers of this nation, all the best. But Pierre, that's an interesting question. 2 years in the same power. What impact the rule have on the Grenadian people? Negative, positive, you must decide. Some people will say negative, positive impact, but the majority are saying negative impact on their life. But Pierre, after 2 years in power, it's time you ought to see the direction the government going after 2 years. I'll always give them a blight for the first year. The first year is for it to settle down. After 2 years, you must see the direction, which direction this party going, what they have in store for the Grenadian people. If life is better now than life under the new National Party. These are the questions people asking. Is there any major capital project initiated by this government after 2 years? Any hotel? Any industry? Any factory? What new? Any big plan for agriculture to feed this nation? Anything with fishery? Anything different? You have to ask that question. After 2 years, what would Prime Minister Deacon say to the people of this country? What you do? Because you made at least $530 million there. You made money there. You had ongoing projects. Big mega project. The airport project. The Livera project. Monkuma project. Water project. You understand? Project in St. David's. You understand? You have now still pending the Greater Grenville project. What you yourself initiate. All I hear is the NDC saying they clean the ground to build a new hospital. That's all. But you have to address this nation and convince the young people you're working on their behalf. They have a stake, they have a share in the economic development of this country. You just can't continue maintaining the status quo and feel the people of this country will just vote you back. Grenadians just turn like milk. They support you today, tomorrow, you don't live up to expectation, they'll turn on you.
Kennedy, in all fairness to the NDC, what particular area do you believe they will claim they have some accomplishment? Because we must give them some.
Between I and you, there is no doubt there is relatively peace in this country. Besides the scattered killing, shooting now and then, you can see there is relatively peace in this country. And let me tell you what they will claim. They will claim they pay pension. They will claim they pay teachers the money. And they will claim they responsible for industrial peace in this country because they won't have no confrontation with trade union for a while based on the agreement they signed with different trade union. But outside of that,
In terms of health, you think they could raise the eyebrow at all?
well, they can't talk about agriculture. They cannot talk about health. They cannot talk about, they cannot say anything positive about the present economic state in this country. Even yesterday, I was in St. George's and two young women came up to me and they said, KB, the money do reach in the ground. And that is the common, cry you hear throughout this country. The money do reach in the ground. Even the NDC people saying the same thing. The money do reach in the ground. So I don't know what would the political leader, NDC, when he addressed this nation, what he will say.
KB Foreign Affairs.
Foreign affairs, well, I think that is one of the greatest achievements in terms of, I don't know what is their position with Ukraine, what is their position with Palestine, what is their position with other, throughout the world. But all I know, foreign affairs is based on more passport selling than anything else. That is where they focus. How much money we can get from passport selling. You understand? I think that will be baby Jesus trump card, How much money he collect in selling passport. I think that will be his number one trump card. Not agriculture. Not economic development. You understand? Except maybe he doing better, he could utilize the big hot mix plant on the airport now and pave some roads. But outside of that, they cannot claim they do anything significant that has positive impact on the life of the Grenadian people. You, as an NDC, you want to defend them. But you just can't. I was speaking to a couple of NDC that they say, KB, we want to defend NDC, but we just can't. It took cost of living just too high.
Too blatant.
We want to defend them. It's our party. But they themselves not in a position to come and explain anything for us. They're ducking when you call them. If Canwell passing Montrose, he will say, well, look, give them a eater rum, give them some rum. He passing River, say, give them boys a drink. But to sit down and engage in positive conversation as what really impact the Grenadian people's lives, they don't take in part in that conversation. They're ducking. Every NDC I've spoken to tell you the same thing, KB. Them men ain't ready yet. Their supporters, Their supporters, them, because no one is coming to them and explain the rationale. What? How come the money enriching the poor man on the ground? How come like the economy stand up like River and Twine Lake? You're not going forward. And why is it? People always pointing the finger at us and saying, watch, one time again, One time again. And it's because one and the CCKB want to break that narrative. That one time talk, we want to kill it. We're doing everything to kill it because we cannot afford going into the third year. Some of our supporters are saying, he look as one term. He look as one term. They want to break it because we don't know. It will be very interesting. After 2 years, what will the Prime Minister addressing this nation? What will be his number one achievement?
Yes, and remember the number to call is 410-3030. And we will read some of your comments. If you make comments on social media, we will read it. And we encourage you to subscribe to Studio Galaxy. Massacre.
Yeah. I just want to make a
Yeah.
point. I just don't want the listeners or NDC supporters to believe we're saying all is doom and gloom. We're not saying that at all.
Well, you
What we're
pointed
saying,
out,
you're not enough.
you pointed out
It's
some
just
positives already.
Yeah, it's not enough.
Massacre.
Yeah.
Education and sports. Do you believe that they are looking at it first of accomplishments that the NDC could brag about in education and sports?
Well, sports is zero because we the World Cup going on now and we don't get in no games because you hear all kind of reasons why it didn't happen, who didn't know or who didn't think they have to do that and so on. So institutional knowledge there, education. What
It's amazing you talk
what?
about sport and you talk about the invitational. Unless
Well,
you come in going back to it.
I just giving them
Yeah.
time because the Minister of Sports said in Parliament, yeah, with a conversation with one of the persons, Mr. Mitchell, he said he was under the weather a bit, and after they go over discussion. So I being fair to him, I giving him a little time. Because he said he'll come back and tell us something. Education, Mr. Pierre. If you listen Parliament recently, under the Education Act, you hear about keeping children in school older. And when you have conversation with people, what comes up is that because of unemployment among youth, they feel keeping children for one extra year in school is the solution. So in education, you don't have much to champion about. But just to backtrack a bit, Mr. Pierre, you ask KB earlier on, and KB mentioned pension. Now, the retroactive payment came about because of a ruling from the court. So I don't give no government credence for paying pension because they had to do what the court say. The fortunate thing out NDC and KB alluded to the fact they found over 530 million there, so they could have paid without a hassle. The payment for the teachers, if you say it is an achievement, why the court rule that it was illegal for the teachers not to work, so they shouldn't get paid. So even if you call it an achievement, is going contrary to a court ruling. So how do you reconcile with that? No. The question is after 2 years. But all what is mentioned and all what KB mentioned, that was already said 1 year ago. So are we to believe if it's that alone they have to offer KB? Are you saying for the second year they do nothing? Now, what baffles me a lot, on one side of this government mouth, they claim $1 billion in CBI. Lennox Andrew claims surplus, surplus, surplus. And we know they meet 500 and something million. We know they came with supplement budgets in excess in millions, KB. We know they borrow 100 million US from the Saudis. But as you as you rightly said, we're not seeing it down. It's not trickling down to, as Mr. Pierre usually say, the lower socio-economic bracket. Now, even if for argument's sake, for discussion's sake, we agree they pay retroactive, but you have a lot of persons who are supposed to get pension who are complaining they don't get it. So that's something they have to fix. So the achievement is not complete. Payment of the teachers. How much percent is the teachers to the population of Grenada? 1%. So are you saying an achievement of a government after 2 years to satisfy 1% of the population? I think to call that an achievement is a stretch. How much public workers he have as it relates to the population of Grenada? Not more than 5%. So in effect, the government achievement for 2 years is to satisfy 6% of the population. Is that the achievement of a government you want? And I will use an analogy here, KB, and you might know that Mr. Pierre and others. Test cricket is 5 days. And they always tell you the third day is the most important in the test match.
Yeah.
It determines how long the test match lasts for.
Where you going?
So when you hear talk and you hear some of the defenders of the NDC, money, we have money, we have money. And then you hear persons go in the hospital and they say, we have to buy what we want to go in the hospital because the hospital don't have nothing. When you hear the school feeding program, because you talk about education, when you hear persons talk about the school feeding program and you hear the Minister of Education was babbling along about trying to get local people to produce local this and local that. Excuses, excuses, excuses. So, if, as I say for argument's sake, KB, we give them pension, we give them paying the teachers, but like 6% of the population, what's all, what the other 94% of the population? Added to that, there's a lot of radio and social media commentators is leveling allegations of serious corruption against this government. And this government is not seeing fit.
Perhaps we could look at those in a little later on in a section, why we still try to stretch it as long as we could to find out what are the benefits there. Because we are not satisfied with what they do with foreign affairs. KB security. Did the government perform where the security of the country is concerned? Is there anything we could give them there?
Well, the point is that I will still say the country is relatively quiet, and there is no doubt
They have maintained this status quo
generally, and those killing surprising, Grenadian police. Every Grenadian is a police. You could say what you want.
It's solving the case.
Every Grenadian is a police. We are very fast people. We doesn't mind we business, but that is what keep us safe. You understand? That is why the police recently break through all majority of the shooting we had in this country. Because Grenadian fast, they don't mind in the business. They go in and tell the police what they see. And thank God they fast. That is what keep us safe. But the government ought to do more. We expect, have people go out in the community, talk to the young people. And as we say, poverty is the breeding ground of crime. And unless you don't immediately arrest that unemployment situation, that crisis that brewing with the state of the economy, you could hire more police, you could enforce more law, you could have gun amnesty, the crime rate will rise. Because certain condition, as long as this condition exists, it will force people to cross the boundary. It will force some young people hand. So not only you could talk on radio, yes, you could have radio conversation, engage young people, have whole seminars. You could ask the church to come out and say something, the NGO to come out and speak. But the key is the state of the economy. But if you don't fix it, you will have a rise in crime in this country. So I would not give them a plus with the crime, with the security of this
They
country.
made a lot of noise about housing in KB. What they did in housing?
But yesterday, I was talking to some people and tell me the house they're building now, they're giving them people window. And then if they give you a house, they'll give you the window and they turn the great toilet. They're building the houses now without window. You have to find your window for yourself.
That is the Grenadian style houses?
You have to be.
Yes, but I don't understand. You know, you make so much noise.
Right now we're stretching to see what we could get to give them.
Because yesterday
we must give them something.
I was in St. Patrick's yesterday and engaging some people. And they said, look, KB, this man get a house without window. This lady get a house without window. And they tell them they have to find their own windows. I remember Roland Bola gave me that joke. Organize a house for a lady. He gave her everything. Windows, doors, everything. She came to him and said, Mr. Bola, you did not give me a lock for the door. Bola said, well, you get everything. Build a house for you. Doors, window, everything. Just buy a lock. She turned against Bola and she refused to vote for Bola because Bola gave her a house without a lock.
But
this time they ain't getting window. No. They ain't getting window now.
But they made a lot of, I mean, what
well, in a recent
Master youth. What is the government achievement where youth is concerned?
Keeping children in school 1 year longer.
Because they made a lot of noise about that.
School.
And the Imani program.
You already dismantled
They made a lot of noise about that. You by now you expected some direction vis-a-vis the Imani program.
Right now they put the Imani in a position, they tell them they have to come down in Grenada and re-register. And they say if you don't come,
you give them an ultimatum.
Yeah, they say if you don't come, you don't have it. But
you don't see nothing that you could give them. Because we want to give them something. We're going to talk about the negative.
Well, we give them pension.
Well, yeah, we give them pension and the money that they could say. And no bother, they give it for. It's practically blackmail.
And the friends and family and colleagues get. Because you hear first cousin is secretary to ministers.
So what this government is celebrating.
The friends get.
Being in power. Being in power. You understand? They can't say, look, man, we create the environment that attract that big investor to build a 5-star hotel because of our policy. They can't say that. All they do, is keep the country a little stable, maintain the status quo, using up the money that was there, and continuing with some of the project they made. But they themselves, you cannot say they initiate anything after 2 years.
What is baffling, Mr. Pierre? It is citizen by investment program supposed to be persons outside who wants to come here and invest.
Big projects.
They're boasting that how much 1,000 passports sell. But where is the investment to match the sales of passport? And that should be one of the biggest achievement of this government based on their policy. And it comes back down to policy again, Mr. Pierre. Policy is about money. Because if you selling all this passport, and if you're boasting in 23 months you make $1 billion, where are the projects? Because there is not no new project. All project is a continuation. So funding was already sought, KB.
Yeah.
So it's not no new funding. What happens to the 100 million from the Saudis? How we not seeing the impact of the economy, Mr. Pierre? And the eye test is the man, the ordinary man in this country. And even those who swear by NDC have the same complaint those who swear by NNP has. The thing not reaching them.
Maybe
So
from the time we in tongue before massacre,
you don't must
we,
rub it in.
we have to always remind it. KB, have you ever heard a year with a government come in power and don't have a problem for money?
No, government always have problem for money.
This is the only
No,
government
I agree with you.
that come in power.
When Gary take power, and then GNP say he can't last long because he don't have money
You
there.
have money.
How Gary survive? In the revolution was the same thing.
The revolution say give only money.
When when Dr. Mitchell took power after Tillman Thomas, he didn't have money to pay salary. You know he didn't have money to pay salary.
That is the first time in the history of Grenada a government come in power. They
And
jump up, they laugh, and they kicks on the previous government for leaving plenty money there.
Yeah.
And the budget that they presented, the projection, they've been collecting more money
You say that.
than they projected for. In addition to that, the CBI program has been doing better. And Saudi Arabia gave them 100 million.
what happened? What happened to the money? Where the money is being spent?
And they cut out the social programs.
Mm-hmm.
They cut from the social programs the periodic debushing, the $6-7 million that was pumping the economy every fortnight. They cut out these things.
So KB, where the money spending?
I don't know the NDC, the ordinary NDC, asking the same question because he have poor NDC too, you know, not
Of
only poor
course.
NNP, you know.
They
They
were-
was
well, most of
always
us-
make that mistake.
Most of those poor NDCs, and you remember Black Wizard say, inside NDC is NNP. Black Wizard say, inside NDC, yeah, NNP. So those poor NDC is NNP.
They still behave as only NNP that have poor people.
But
support them.
sometimes the early stages at NNP, they just ignore these groups. You know.
Yes.
In the latter stage, they try to butter them again. They say that them is NNP. Maybe that is the classless and commoners among them.
I don't know. It's strange. I just wonder if these people, why is it they so detached from the ordinary man? You want to be in politics, we expect you to go into the community, get the feel, not only see and hear, but you get the feel of the people. You understand? And then you go back and come up with your program, your policy that will reflect the aspiration of the people in your constituency. That is how I know it is being done. But when you hide away, fearing that if you go to the community, they may ask for something and you're not able to give them, so you're hiding. But that is politics. What you're going to politics for, people will want to better their life.
But they provide, right now, they even provide $10,000 for them to give people to buy ice cream and rum. And
Because my friend Tevin from Cargo tell me he could write a check.
yeah, you could write check.
He could write a check and give a poor woman to go and get groceries in the shop.
After the first month, he say only $2 remain in the
Yeah,
bank.
but now it's better for him that time. He didn't get any 10,000 now. He get the 10,000. He tell me he could write a check. I will go to a village. Woman don't have no grocery. She gas done. He could write a check. She go into the grocery. All he have to give an account. How the
Massacre.
money is spent.
So
Massacre.
the acting
Who do
prime
you
minister
think
doesn't
is the
receive.
most-
Eh?
Who do you think is the most disappointed people in this country with the National Democratic Congress
The National-
after 2 years?
Who you think are the most disappointed people?
Yeah.
The ordinary people from the National Democratic Congress. Because the thing about it is they see in their peers or persons who came to them and say, vote for NDC because X, Y, and Z go happen. They seeing things happening for these people, but not for them. And they speaking about it because they calling names who come and tell them X, Y, Z. And now look what they doing that. They get security contract, they get this, that, but nothing for them. So even the Congress, in my view, is not looking out for its own people.
But they call them NNP. They say inside NDC is NNP.
What's about those NNP that go over
Well, they
and
say
vote for them?
They want
NNP.
Are you saying this would be the most disappointed group?
Yeah, I believe
Those that flip.
I believe some of the people that is most disappointed is supporters of NDC. Some of the ordinary supporters of NDC perhaps is the most disappointed group. Obviously, some of them NNP was suspicious anyway, that they might not have able to do what they say they was going to do.
Yeah.
So now they're going to say, well, I tell you that. But some of the people believe, they genuinely believe that Deacon would have made
Life better.
all of them permanent.
And pension, a lot of them believe anywhere you walk in, you'd be receiving pension.
When one guy told me he voted for a pension, I hushed him out because at that time I didn't want him to, I wasn't flaunting no political party. But Dennis Cornwall, I thought his statement was the crown. There is no need
for a parallel
public service. No need. As soon as, and Dennis Cornwall have been in the service and have reached the level that he could have hold any position
in the
financial arena, in the public service, or even in the international community. He have the certification on paper. So after Dick make his statement, and Dennis Cornwall crung
it,
and Lennox Andrew did not object to it, people were convinced
they were talking the truth,
that they were speaking the truth.
So these people could say that he had to be true.
Say yes, these people, and William Joseph did not there was no outcry from him. There was no outcry from Camaraderie. The unions didn't say, no, you cannot do that. We must have contract officers, contract workers. They say there is no need for a parallel service. They say they're giving you because they want to fire you all the time. I think the supporters of NDC
really
is the most disappointed people.
And the Prime Minister went on to quote the Labour Act and say it was indeed illegal. So when I hear him a couple of days ago talking about pension for contract workers, I just take a stroll, because I say that big borat can be real.
Well, it's just stupid. I mean, the Prime Minister behaving like an ignoramus. You have to be stupid. Because if you have the NIS, and NIS have to raise pension age, and they're struggling, they say the actuary authorize them or advise them or what, repeatedly. And they're struggling. And government, you setting a new pension scheme with contract officers, that is going to bust under 5 years.
And with contract officers who are not sure how long the contract will be.
They're on contract. What these people go tell you, and the Prime Minister say he don't care much about the IMF too.
But this contracting pension is a Ponzi scheme they want to organize.
Well, it's worse than a Ponzi scheme
because take money from some people and then people leave them in tears. Most
time you don't see the trick in a Ponzi scheme.
No.
It's after. But right now you're seeing that this thing can work.
Yeah.
And if the Prime Minister making a statement like that, he must, or he ought to, or he should have people in the financial area advising him on that. Because you have to be a madman twice to get up and make a statement like that. Without getting the council
You know what is illusion,
of
Mr. Pierre?
export in this field.
You ever heard the word illusion?
Well, I think my parents say illusion different from
I don't know.
illusion in dictionary.
Myself and Master Carl, on our way down, we met a key supporter of the NDC, and he said to us, Prime Minister, they can have no help. Most of the parliamentarian, they cannot help him politically. And you hear the cry in the different community by the NDC supporters. Nobody consulting them. They have an idea, they haven't got that idea what is going on. There is no communication between the people at the top and the NDC supporters on the middle and the bottom. They don't know what's going on because there is no sustainable structures in the different constituency where they can go and add their views, or somebody will give them, explain to them what is going on. So they are at a loss. That is the kind of disappointment.
What has the NDC achieved that is worthy of celebration in 2 years?
I think it's just being in office.
Those who are agents of the CBI, they could celebrate
30 million.
because it is
for
believed
annum, they're likely to get
that $30 million could already be in there.
those who are
their
agents
account.
of the CBI program, based upon our
Rough
calculation,
calculation.
rough unprofessional calculation,
30
they
million.
stand to make 30 million.
In the last 23 months, Kiwi. Based on the amount of
30 million.
passports sold, and based on how many of the passports persons they are agents for.
Every minister had the income increase.
Give the number to call.
Huh?
The number to call.
The number to call is 410 3030. 410 3030. We have any look at WhatsApp with me.
But that could be an achievement, the increase in ministers' pay.
But only that is what they celebrate. In addition to that, one of the ministers, we understand, traveled 24 times in 23 months.
Then you have a
24
that's a record, man.
you have a former minister get a gracious offer.
$100,000 was given, we understand, to the one who couldn't refuse the gracious offer. This is a small, an individual always tell me, and this is a small group. They made a party for the retirees. They say let they go home.
So they give them the Jews.
They fix them up early. And they decide to fix up a few. They said they had 1,500 people in 6 days sending their CV to be on boards and ambassadors.
Yeah.
But it's about 50 people they run.
No, 88.
88 people there.
If you check it, because some they on 3 and 4 boats,
Right,
when you
so
check it, 88 persons in Grenada benefiting.
Benefiting from it.
88 Kiwi.
So
They're not even 1% of the population.
It's a small group. NDC is a small clique.
But KB, you know one time we had a discussion and you tell me about the revolution and you tell me it was about 30 something of all.
Yeah, 32 of us.
So that happened with the NDC. They just broadened it a bit, 88 of them.
They provided assistance for some people that open their mouth, etc. For instance, the last previous opposition leader, I understand now, he's selling passport. That is
You want to say passport selling like fish cake?
Nazim, I understand now.
And he gave every reason why passport should not be sold.
See, I understand. I didn't see it myself, but I understand that he's an agent now to sell passports.
He part of the fish cake thing.
So he fall in the group that like to make a 30 million.
You want to fall in the 88.
And
88 of them, okay.
And some of them, when they're traveling, they go with a spouse.
Yeah, the family too.
They go with spouse.
Rack of bill of 40,000.
Oh, all of a sudden, passport becoming NDC Trump card.
They paid one individual, I understand, and that is what we're hearing about. One hotel bill was in excess of 30,000 US. And the government keep the tab. And they have their galas. Well, the minister of, the gentleman who, Mr. Forrester, he's an ambassador in the diaspora. And nothing is wrong with that. to choose an ambassador. But he seems to be more preoccupied with raising funds for the political party. And if you're an ambassador, you represent everybody.
Yeah, raise
Even
fund.
though you're going to be facilitating, your main objective cannot be, or ought not to be, raising funds for them.
No.
And
Looking for investors.
yeah, and you deal with the diaspora. But once the people in the diaspora see you as a party, one of the party's henchmen, they're going to back up from you.
Yeah.
What always concerns me through all of the travels of the Prime Minister and other ministers, attending galas and so on in the diaspora, the funds made from those galas, they say it's to build some NDC thing. You know.
It's for the NDC party.
But who pays?
Party office?
But who pays for the accommodation and the travel to those galas?
Well, you can use a government. I mean, they forget they had no line, a demarcation between the party and the government.
But their point here is too often, based on the dealings of the Congress, KB, like they does not understand NDC as a party and government. They seems to make it one thing, so us, make all NNP go from the public service. And you're hearing prominent people
Well, you had the teachers,
in the Congress saying that.
the president of the teachers union.
Well, the
Look at
president of the teachers union is the greatest.
I mean, he have to be doing that with the blessings of the
He
executive
must.
of the union.
I wonder if he does not attend executive meeting.
No, the exec. You mean NDC executive
Yes.
meeting? Well, I wouldn't surprise. But he have to have the blessing of the teachers executive.
Yeah, to make the statement.
Then what is going to happen to this country? And this is my concern. When you see these fundamental issues going on. Because if the president of a union is attacking other union to get rid of the members who they believe seems or appear to be supporters of NNP, then maybe they have the blessing of the party, of the executive. We could be in a lot of problems.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. And it seems as though there is no light at the end of the tunnel, Mr. Pierre.
Well, the only light is probably we are pointing it out on the radio, and hoping that they get a change on the road to Damascus.
Yeah.
I believe that you cannot have a board. Look at GDP, what they do in GDP Bank.
Now, what you're talking about board, Mr. P. In recent days and recent development as reported to the last cabinet meeting, there's information suggesting that the Minister of Youth and Sport, or the division or department, or what you want to call it, the line person, your good friend Jonathan, may have seen the light on the road to Damascus. And it is
He's the
reported
Minister of Youth now.
youth.
That is the worst Minister of Youth ever in the history of Grenada.
But they say he might have found a little testicular fortitude
Yes.
and issued a
Yeah,
termination letter to the chairman of Lotto. That is being reported.
That will.
And then the chairman, as reported information suggests, went to the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister said, this information said that the Prime Minister said, watch, don't worry that. And they say information suggests that Monday in cabinet, the Prime Minister tell Laco, rescind that letter, take it back.
Have you seen it?
Yeah. But when you hear the chairman of the board and the manager of the company maybe cohabiting and being together, and they are signatories to Lotto check, and the present government seeing that like nothing, they're like business as usual. This government tolerance for corruption is beyond anything we ever see in this country.
It's the most corrupt government that ever passed. I say to people, I have a lot of issue with the revolution. But I never attacked the revolution on corruption. I never attacked Maurice Bishop on living luxurious life. I never attacked Maurice Bishop for not living frugal. My problem with the revolution was the excess in detaining people for the ideological perspective. But we couldn't say Bishop was corrupt or Bishop live extravagant life. No political leader in Grenada post 67 we could have said that.
Why you think they resuscitate the Sheldon Scott thing? It's because to cover up
Well, I
for
think
their own means of corruption?
it's just the restorative justice policy. Vengeance. That is it. Vengeance. And if Sheldon Scott, when I heard him said on radio that if he will accept liability and etc., then this is a matter that should go to court because he should deal with government policy.
Yeah.
What is government policy? Because he have in the phone, if government have a policy, a lot of people, including the previous Attorney General, had his phone. I think his bill was $19.
But he had the phone.
But the fact remains he had his phone. So what was government policy? And bills don't go to you. And government may have a package.
Yes.
A bills. Let's say we pay Digicel $20,000. I don't know what was the agreement. Some people may use the phone $3. Some people may use the phone $100,000. So while this was a big political embarrassment for NNP, did Sheldon Scott committed a crime?
But not even that. He had other parliamentarian that had the phone and they only give it up when the Sheldon Scott thing
issue
come out.
So that is a case that should go to court.
Policy.
And it's the Ministry of Communication and Works that is responsible for that.
So he's singling out one person for
well, yes, he's getting the
prosecution, political prosecution.
They're going back to deal with that in that manner. Is straight political vengeance. And I am an individual who is extremely concerned about vengeance.
And even though they
don't like it.
No, that's not good for us.
Even though they invoke the tenets of corruption with Mr. Scott. But when you hear all the Lato fiasco, where persons buying from themselves,
They buy from
they buying furniture and stationery from themselves in excess of $140,000. And that is the same kind of money they're talking about to Sheldon.
Well, look at the fact that they remove the contract supposed to be 5,000 or 15,000.
For
the maximum that a minister could have given a contract.
Yeah.
Without
5,000?
Without tendering.
Yeah, without tendering, it went to 100,000. Was 15.
15,000, and they want to move it to 100,000.
Without tendering.
And I understand that they already violate the law. They flaunt the law with impunity.
Yeah, they're trying to bring it retroactive, so they go see that thing.
The government want to legalize illegality.
So that means a politician could just
100,000.
give a friend 100,000 without any bidding.
No bid what?
And what is troubling, this present administration have the appetite to do just that,
KB,
to give their friends,
KB,
even in a case where you are responsible people, but this administration has the appetite to give their friends or their cousin or their associates just that.
KB, you know what is dangerous? Another government come in
Mm-hmm.
and they just leave that side.
Mm-hmm.
They don't challenge them. They don't take issue with them. And they say, well, you like it, sir? So they start to give out contract for 100,000. And they traveling now without no restriction. That is what would happen. And the issue of vengeance is not in a small country. All of us is family.
Yeah.
This thing is going to cause violence.
But Mr. Pierre, restorative justice in its context is vengeance.
Yeah, well,
restorative justice is vengeance.
Particularly when you're doing in politics, restorative justice is vengeance.
It will be interesting to hear Prime Minister Deacon address this nation after 2 years.
I look forward to that.
Well, we have the last 10 minutes to go. And KB, that was your concern, what Deacon is going to say.
Yes, it's strange.
What kind of address he's going to give.
I'm looking around.
Because it seems that these meetings they have, they're telling you what they plan to do.
and not what
Yeah,
is
I agree
accomplished.
with you.
What they plan to do rather than what they did. They're not doing postmortem there.
You listen to his
What they plan to do, they planned.
right now. The major thing is the hospital and housing. They said they're going to. And you talk about a 500 house
Prefab house.
we have for
And you
constituency.
know the insulting thing? They're going to try about 17 as maybe a
Yeah,
pilot to see if the carpenters. In this modern day and age, that's an insult to Grenadian
Yeah,
builders.
carpenters.
Well, you see, we have good quality house. You see the design
Ah.
houses we have.
You have to try for a man to build a little. You have to see if they could put up that. I mean, why didn't think so low of Grenadians? Beggy, classless in 2024. If I was in Gary days, you get 2 bull pieces for that. And I would have been in full support. You come calling me classless. In those days, they used to say we stinking gay right. And we want to play cuff.
What you mean?
In 2024, you calling people classless, beggy, and you say these little houses now, you will
Without-
try 17 and see if Grenadian builders could build that. That's not an insult or.
Well, you see the kind of house Grenadian building is building.
Well, my biggest takeaway, Mr. Pierre, I just want to throw that out before we go. Listening to one of the town hall meeting, the senator from Victoria, he said he didn't lose him.
Nice.
He said Clary just happened to get 400 and something vote more than him, but he didn't lose.
Well, obvious.
I never hear something
Arrogant.
according to MKB, was some a ram good statement like that.
Arrogant.
In the Grenadian, in the context of Grenadian politics, man does lose by 6 votes.
400 votes is a lot of vote.
One
Stan
vote.
might lose by one
One
vote.
vote.
A man say the person just get 400 and something vote more than why he don't lose it. And the Prime Minister and orders was right there. And nobody don't even clap as him and saying that to tell him.
Well, they listen to all the prime ministers. What the prime minister.
Kevin, the man said she just happened
Never
to get
clap.
400 and something vote
More than
more than him, and in the context of Grenada, man lose seat by 1 vote already.
one vote. You
So,
say he
so
never.
sir, why
lost.
didn't lose?
And
The person just get 1 more vote than him.
the gentleman in Carriacou was 7 votes.
6 or something vote.
Prime.
6.
Darby was just a few.
6
But
votes.
Darby didn't lose.
And
We'll give up his seat.
Bola Ingrid lost by about
20
20 something
28.
votes. 28 votes.
But Ingrid didn't lose.
No, so the gentleman said,
But how a man with all his mental
quality-
faculties in position could say that?
quality of the individual, the level of
That illusion at the highest level.
I don't know. They
arrogance have blinded.
don't have no political
Very
mind.
disrespectful. You look at the Minister of Legal Affairs. One of the activity I saw in, and an individual say it was a private activity. I said, I don't know if it was private. I saw it on social media.
Yeah.
Where she have a hand in the air,
Yeah, pointing.
pointing a gun, bow, shoot Babylon, bow.
For what?
When you have your Minister of Legal Affairs
Legal
and Labor
advisor to the government.
in a party have her hand pretending
Glorifying
to have a
bad
gun.
manism, glorifying gunman.
One foot jumping up, shoot Babylon, bow.
Why she make that statement?
Well, when I said that the upsurge in crime must be laid squarely at the foot of the NDC, they contributed. How you could say that?
What? Why she made that statement?
In this day and age, your girlfriend could talk this nonsense. Shoot Babylon, bow. This is bad boy thing.
In
get to
70s,
that.
like 70s.
In this modern day and age.
Not no.
Yeah?
The Attorney General,
Arrested law.
Mr. Pierre, left the sanctity of cabinet and went and have a press brief. They don't have in press brief after cabinet. And she left the sanctity last Monday and go and try to mislead the nation.
And she did mislead. She didn't try, she misled the girl. And she was doing it with glee, As if she had an orgasmic experience. She happy.
No, boy. When I see that, I see all that big boy at them can live in one hole, no?
I mean, now I understand. He has no help.
Well,
I wonder if he knows she going and do that.
well, the I understand, based upon the information we're hearing, the Prime Minister has been in Grenada
And take it
and he
on Zoom.
participating in cabinet on Zoom.
But they say he go Monday because he had to cost Jonathan and tell him it's me that give you a work, the people who vote for you.
What happened? And this is what is so dishonest about this government. A lot of the ministers' hands are tied behind their back because of the massive loan they took from the development bank. They face bankruptcy if the Prime Minister threw them out of the office. And several others are in CBI program. This 30 million they watching, they have them to be obedient. And the sister who traveled over 24 times in 23 months, and she have permission to go around with her spouse, and others have compromised the integrity. And the Prime Minister say morality is a private thing. So they don't care about morality now. He has seriously compromised. KB, you have the last word as we end.
Yes, we celebrate, NDC is celebrating the 2 years of victory. And we all asking the same question. What have they done? The people asking, is life better now than under the new National Party? The majority of people will tell you, especially coming from the low-income bracket, will tell you, look, life was much better under the new National Party. The experience now. And if it continue that way, we expect a social explosion in this country. It just can't continue for the next 2 years. They grind the first year. They continue to grind the second year. But to grind a third year, it will be extremely difficult to bear that pain. Master Carl.
I agree with you, you know. How long will this continue? And persons, because see, I think persons reach the level where they was tolerant to it, Mr. Pierre, but they realize now we give them enough time and nothing no happening. And the own supporters have become the loudest complainers, Mr. Pierre. The own supporters has been the one complaining most about what is not happening, what they thought would happen because they promised plenty, you know. As a matter of fact, this has been the most promising government in Grenada. You know. They promise everything. And KB, you said to me one time, Massacre, I met Deacon in a place in Tivoli around the area of it. And you say you had a conversation with the Prime Minister now for about half an hour and he had answers for everything. And you say, KB, in your experience in politics, that is not a good sign. You told me so.
Yeah.
You told me a man cannot have answers for everything, Mr. Pierre.
Well, we want to thank you very much. We come to the end of the program today on Galaxy Equalizers, and we encourage you as you hear our program to share it, particularly those in the diaspora, to share our program and subscribe to our program. Give the new kid on the block a chance to grow. We provoke discussion, and we're back with you again next Saturday, the Galaxy Equalizers. Thank you very much.